Hey guys, welcome back to another segment of News You Can Use. So, my name is Mya Henry, and today is Wednesday, August 2nd. And of course, I'm back again, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys practical tips, news, updates, and insights that can truly make a difference in your life and in your business as well. So, with that being said, let's get straight into today's segment. So, for the first topic, I want to speak about how we're now seeing the damaging results of the mandates that are being put to return back to work into the office. And it has more of an effect than we think, right? So, a trio of compelling reports from the Greenhouse Candidate Experience, the Federal Reserve Survey of Household Economics and Decision Making, SHED, and Unispace's Returning for Good report collectively paint a stark picture of this brewing storm. So Unispace found that nearly half, which is 42% of companies with return to office mandates, witnessed a higher level of employee attrition than they had anticipated. So along with that, almost a third, which is 29% of companies enforcing office returns are struggling with recruitment. So, in other words, employers knew that the mandates would cause some attrition, but they weren't ready for the serious problems that would result. So, meanwhile, a staggering 76% of employees stand ready to jump ship if their companies decide to pull the plug on flexible work schedules, right? And this is according to the Greenhouse report. And employees from historically underrepresented groups are 22% more likely to consider other options if flexibility comes to an end. In the SHED survey, the gravity of the situation becomes more evident, and the survey equates the displeasure of shifting from a flexible work model to a more traditional one to that of experiencing a 2 to 3% pay cut. So people were more open to returning to the office if it was out of choice. So flexible work policies have emerged the ultimate edge in talent acquisition and retention. The Greenhouse, SHED, and Unispace reports, when they're viewed all together, they provide compelling evidence to back up this assertion. So Greenhouse finds that 42% of candidates would outright reject roles that lack flexibility. And the SHED survey affirms that employees who work from home a few days a week greatly appreciate the arrangement. The Greenhouse report has ranked employees' priorities as 48% say that it's increased compensation, 34% say that it's greater job security, 32% that say that it's career advancement opportunities, and 28% say that it's better flexible work policies, and 27% say that it's a more positive company culture. So, in other words, excluding career-centric factors such as pay, security, promotion, flexible work ranks first in the employees' priorities. And interestingly, Unispace throws another factor into the mix, which is choice. So according to its report, overall, the top feelings employees revealed that they felt towards the office were happy at 31%, motivated, which is 30%, and excited, leaving us at 27%. But however, all three of these feelings decrease for those with mandated office returns. And in other words, staff members were more open to returning to the office if it was out of their personal choice compared to it being forced. Real life cases are mirroring findings. So recently, it was a man who was contacted by a regional insurance companies with a workforce of around 2,000 employees. So the company enforced the return to office policy, causing waves of unrest. So it soon became evident that attrition rates were climbing steadily. In line with the Greenhouse's report findings, most employees would actively seek a new job if flexible work policies were retracted. the underrepresented groups were even more prone to leave, making the situation more daunting. So at that point, the company had called them to help, so he can help as a hybrid work expert who the New York Times had called the office whisperer. So they worked on adapting the return to office plan, switching it from a top-down mandate to a team-driven approach, and focus on welcoming staff to the office for the sake of collaboration and mentoring. And as a result, the company's attrition rates dropped and the feelings of employees towards the office improved in line with what the Unispace report suggests. And in another case, a large financial services company began noticing employee turnover despite offering competitive salaries and growth opportunities. Upon running an internal survey, managers realized that aside from better compensation and career advancement opportunities, employees were seeking better flexible work policies. And this aligned with the Greenhouse and Shed findings, which ranked flexible work policies as a crucial factor influencing job changes. And after consulting with him, they adjusted their policies to be more competitive in offering flexibility. A late startup decided to embrace the wave of change. So the company worked with him to introduce flexible work policies, and the result was almost immediate. So managers noticed a sharp decrease in employee turnovers and an uptick in job applications. So their story echoes the collective message from all three of the reports. Companies must be able to adapt to flexible work policies or risk being outcompeted by other employers. So inside an employee's head, like as they're navigating these shifting landscapes of works, they can't ignore the human elements that are at play. So like unseen puppeteer cognitive biases, subtly, they change people's decisions and perceptions. So in the context of flexibility and retention, two cognitive biases come into sharp focus: the status quo bias and anchoring bias as well. So imagine a thriving tech startup successfully operating in a hybrid model during the pandemic, and as the world goes back to normal, leadership decided to return to pre-pandemic in-person work arrangements. But however, they faced resistance as an unexpected swell of turnover. So this situation just illustrates the potent influence of the status quo bias, and the bias deeply entrenches in the human psyche, and it inclines people towards maintaining current states or resisting change. And employees have already tasted the fruits of flexible work, felt averse to relinquishing those new found freedoms. So consider a large financial institution that enforced a full return to the office after the pandemic. So many employees initially attracted by the brand and the pay scale, they felt disgruntled. The crux of the problem lies in the anchoring bias, which leads to heavily rely on the first piece of information offered, which is the anchor, when making a decision. So when initially joining the company, the employees were primarily concerned with compensation and job security. Once within the fold, the pandemic caused them to shift their focus to work-life balance and flexibility, which was also confirmed by both the Greenhouse and Shed reports. And unfortunately, the rigid return to office policy made these new anchors seem less attainable, which resulted in dissatisfaction and an increased propensity to leave. So I don't blame these employees for not wanting to return back to the office, for the office to be the workspace, because when COVID hit, it did change a lot of things, right? And people have no option. When COVID hit, people had no option except to just go home and find a way to work from home, right? So these people have gotten a really good taste at what it's like to work from home. And if anyone who is listening or watching has worked from home, you know how freeing it could feel. And anybody who has sense would look at these mandatory expectations to return back to working in the office, they'd probably find a way to try to go against that, right? Which is what employees are already doing. And I know I mentioned earlier how people feel like it should be an optional thing, like it should be their choice instead of it being mandatory. But even then, like I truly feel like if people had a choice, they would decide to work from home, right? So I just think it's a really big expectation trying to get people out of the comfort of working from home and then trying to get them to go back into the office, trying to get things to how they used to be before the pandemic, but at the same time, you're not offering them any advantage as to why they should return to working in the office. Because if you're going to take something as good as working from home away from somebody, there needs to be a really valid reason or benefit for the person to be okay with that mandate. So now these companies that are putting these mandates are having to face competition with other companies that do offer the ability to work from home or that do offer the flexibility, because people are going to look at what other options they have before they decide to give up on working from home because of a mandate. And if anybody who's tuning into today's session, who's listening to this and is looking for an opportunity where they can have the ability to fully work from home, right? To work from home, and would anyone who wants to take that into consideration and to start working from home, because that's just what people want to do nowadays. So I wouldn't hesitate on reaching out to me, because here people do have the ability and the flexibilities to 100% work from home. And it's actually what I do. And I would love to be able to share that opportunity with other people as well. So another thing that I want to share with you guys is top 10 reasons why employees leave, right? So while the global economy is on a shaky ground, employees are still leaving their jobs. And according to the October 2022 Bureau of Labor Statistics report, 42 million workers quit. So how crazy is that? So let me share with you guys the top 5 reasons why people quit or why people leave their jobs. And I'm going to go into more detail. So the first reason is low pay. The second reason is lack of career advancement opportunities. The third reason is feeling disrespected at work. Fourth reason is childcare issues. And the fifth reason is not enough flexibility. So number one is poor pay. So according to the Pew Research Center data, the top reason employees leave their job was because of poor pay. So compensation and benefits are incredibly important to employees. And this is according to the Society for Human Research Management. 63% of US employees said that compensation and benefits are an important factor. And this is extremely valid because your compensation from work is going to determine how well you're going to be able to support yourself and to support your family as well, right? So I'm not surprised that this is number one on the list. And number two, like I said, is lack of career advancement opportunities. So this is coming in second, and it's another top reason why employees are leaving is due to career advancement or the lack thereof. So employees want to learn, grow, and develop, and they want to be able to see a future with their organization, right? So if you're an employee and you don't feel like you have a future with your organization, you're going to want to leave, right? And it's the same way how, as humans, if you're in a relationship and you don't see a future with that person, you're going to want to leave, right? And of course, you know that not having the space to be able to learn, grow, and develop, that's another valid reason for people leaving, because as humans, what we want to be able to do is grow and learn. And if we feel like we do not have that opportunity, we're going to start looking in another direction, right? And number three, feeling disrespected at work. So this is an interesting topic, but Another top reason why employees are leaving their jobs. So one key factor in feeling respected at work is belonging. So for example, microaggressions, discrimination, and simply feeling included at work are all components of respect. So we know that if employees don't feel like they belong at the workplace, it's likely that they're going to leave, right? So, and studies have studied the impact of belonging in the workplace, and it's been found that employees who feel excluded from work experiences, right, have a 25% loss in performance and a 50% greater risk of employee turnover. Number three, I just went over number three. Number four, childcare issues. So the pandemic simultaneously spurred a childcare crisis. Overnight, working parents became teachers, nannies, counselors, nurses, and employees all in one. COVID-19 put a new emphasis on the childcare industry. The pandemic highlighted the cracks in the industry as it pertains to working parents as well as childcare providers. So it's been surveyed that more than 500 working parents in the US to better understand childcare issues. So what they found was that 16% of US parents say that their childcare issues negatively impact their quality to work. And to go hand in hand with a decrease in work performance, caregiver fatigue and caregiver burnout entered the picture as well. Many employees simply just needed better options, and it's likely many looked for opportunities that were more accommodating to childcare needs. And this reason is super important as well, because if parents feel like they don't have anyone to take care of their child or their children while they're at work, they're more likely to decide to leave, right? Or they're going to go to another option where they're able to work from home. That way they're able to be with their kids as well. And number five is not enough flexibility. So if you scroll through the corporate meme side of TikTok or Instagram, it's likely that you'll find the host of creators posting about one thing, the return to the office, which is what I previously spoke to you guys about. So it's been a hot topic of discussion for some time now. So some employers have fully embraced the hybrid or work or remote work environments, but even those in a warehouse or shift-based work. So on the other hand, others are still grasping onto the in-person experience. But what's the result of this? Employees don't feel like they have the flexibility they were able to get back, they were able to get amid the pandemic. And frankly, they want that flexibility back. So according to a McKinsey survey, 87% of employees offered at least some type of flexibility with remote work and embrace the opportunity. So what I'm getting is that people really love flexibility. Flexibility is something that really matters. Number six, poor work-life balance. So the pandemic blended work and life together into one big mush, and people stayed late working from kitchen tables, couches, and one-bedroom apartments. And as the workforce emerged from the pandemic to the new normal, work-life balance became more important than ever for employees to find. So poor work schedules and long hours certainty contribute to turnover rates. Similar to flexibility, employers want to be able to find harmony between their work lives and their personal lives as well. So the pandemic really shed light to the reality that you should be able to work, but still have more than enough time for your personal life. A work-life balance is important. Number seven is burnout. So I know many people who have been on the brink of a burnout crisis, right? And according to the recent Better Up research, job satisfaction is the top driver of overall satisfaction. But burnout rates have also been on the rise, and employee well-being is plateauing. So if employees reach the end of their fuel tanks at an organization, it's very much likely that they looked for better opportunities somewhere else. Number eight is a bad manager. So managers have incredible influence over the employee experience. And we've all heard the phrase that says employees leave managers, not companies. Well, that holds some truth. In fact, 57% of employees leave their jobs because of their boss. And according to data, managers have also have an influence over their team's performance. And it's been studied that in 1,600 teams, the results showed that if a manager is struggling with a key capability, it's likely that their employees will also feel the impact. So, for example, managers who measured low in agility saw a decrease in their team's agility. Poor management, like micromanaging, can have negative effects on your workforce. Ultimately, it can lead to employees who are looking for new opportunities. Number 9, finding a new purpose. So, a lack of purpose in the workforce can be another reason why employees find a better option. So, especially during the pandemic, employees really took the time to re-examine and evaluate their priorities. Gartner research shows the shift in perspective about the purpose of work. So, in a survey of more than 3,500 employees, 65% of respondents said that the pandemic made them rethink the place work should have in their life. Beyond that, 56% of employees reported wanting to contribute more to society. According to Gallup research, employers saw a 10% improvement in employees' connections with the mission or purpose of their organization. The result of connecting the purpose of work, an 8.1% decrease in turnover and 4.4% increase in profitability. And number 10 is company culture issues. So lastly, corporate culture, right? This culture plays a huge role in the employee experience. And if a toxic company culture impacts an employee's experience, it's likely that it could be a top reason why they leave. A good company culture contributes to a host of positive benefits in the workplace. When employees feel connected to their workplace culture, employee engagement increases. A good company culture can also help increase attrition rates. So I just shared with you guys 10 reasons why people leave or quit their job. And I'm sure many of you guys that are tuning in today, this is something that you guys can relate to, or you probably know someone who's able to relate with a few of the reasons that I just shared with you. And me personally, I know a lot of people that resonate with number 8, which is having a bad manager. A lot of people, they come to me, and when we're speaking about their job, something that's the first thing that they say is how they wish that they could change their manager. They wish that they had a healthy relationship with their manager, but they don't. And they also wish how they wouldn't have to have their manager on top of them as they are working. But yeah, guys, so to wrap up this video, as it's coming to an end, I just want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch today's video or listen to the podcast. And of course, please share this video with someone that you know may benefit from it. And if there's any questions or concerns, or if anyone would love to get started with the opportunity that we have to offer, the work opportunity, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for another